Hello and welcome to Midday Discuss, your daily dose of insight and intelligent conversation. I am your host, Samuel Odi, and today we are driving into a topic that is transforming the way nations grow businesses, operate, and lives evolve. Our focus on today centers around impact of technology innovation on the global economy. From artificial intelligence to blockchain, from fintech to renewable energy solutions, technology is not just shaping the future, it is driving it. But how exactly is innovation influencing economic growth, job creation, and global trade, and even inequality? To unpack this, I'm being joined by Samuel Nitwe Theophilus, an AI engineer. So, welcome and thank you for joining us on today's edition of the program.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Yes, so we'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we return back, we'll be diving right into the conversation of the day as we tend to x-ray how technology has impacted innovations and also helped the global economy. Stay with us, we'll be right back. If you're just joining, I am Samuel Odi, and we're about to unpack how technology innovation has helped global economy. But let's begin by setting the context. Over the last few decades, we've seen tech innovation move from margins to mainstream AI, automation, cloud computing, and green tech are now pillars of modern economies. So now we're going to be extracting how all of this has actually impacted the global economy. So Samuel, let me start off quickly. How has technology innovation redefined productivity growth in today's global economy?
Okay, so technology has really transformed growth for a lot of companies. Productivity with automations. So you have automation, you have automation virtualization, right? So from cloud computing to virtual reality, and then also artificial intelligence. So you have we are able to do a lot of things faster now due to, of course, to the availability of AI-powered tools, generative tools, also robotics. Right? When you look at what Amazon is doing, Amazon Alibaba is doing with robots or in the e-commerce space, with delivery, and then when you look at even Tesla, when you look across industries in manufacturing, from manufacturing to content creation to even healthcare, you have automation speeding up things. This is really making industries or companies to be able to like achieve so much more than they were able to do before. And if you look at even the recent innovation, for instance, I think some weeks back, Elon Musk's AI, that's XAI's released Grok 4, and you talk about the intelligence. It's been able to genuinely perform research and like make discoveries like a PhD level student. So when you look at even research, you see AI being able to really, like, not just AI, but technology generally has really changed how has really helped speed up innovation, productivity, and then also like even cutting down cost and all these things, which is making the society better for it.
We are going to have conversation around cutting down costs because there's an angle we are going to look at which is very, very key to why, looking at the part of Africa where we're from, the adaptation of this, though people are adopting, but the rate at which the adaptation is happening is really, really slow. We are going to have that conversation. But now, could you just give us a snapshot of the most impactful tech innovations shaping the global economy right now?
Okay, yeah, so for the most impactful tech, I would say, of course, artificial intelligence is it's a very active space that has gotten a lot of funding and has made a lot of noise. So that's one area. Aside artificial intelligence, you have spatial computing. That's you have augmented reality, virtual reality. And then when you go further, you look into areas like autonomous solutions, robotics, and then you go deeper into biotech. So most of these areas, quantum tech and semiconductors. That's when you talk about like NVIDIA. When you look at NVIDIA being at the top three valuable companies globally. So these are some of the tech that are advancing, because as AI keeps getting or as the AI hype, or at least the AI transformation is actively ongoing, the need for servers, compute resources, and also most of these other tech are also advancing as well. So yeah, so this as just a few. It's not an exhaustive list actually,
yes.
but there are so these are some of the tech that are trending or at least at the forefront of innovation or disrupting economies currently.
Okay. Well, like you before, the conversation I said we are going to get into, you rightly mentioned earlier around cutting out cost and all. So now let's look at how developing and developed countries experience these innovations differently. Now, Africa, Nigeria is a developing country, and then we have developed countries like China, US, and then the list goes on and on. So developing countries now like Africa, Nigeria, how do you think that countries are experiencing innovation? How do you think this part of the world is experiencing these innovations?
Okay, yes. So for how we're experiencing it differently, so when you look at companies or countries like China, US, most of them have proprietary tech, and so they are the forefront. They have access to data centers, GPUs. So when it comes to even innovation, they are innovating at a faster pace. You have a lot of open source AI models coming out from China, US, because they have these resources, they have this tech, and also the research coming out from these pools. And they also, when you look at even the transformation in their industries, it's very wide. So for developing countries, you have how we have been experiencing it. We are basically trying to catch up. So and we are relying so heavy on there's a heavy reliance on foreign tech. You understand? So this is one way that and then also there's the risk of being left behind, because as these companies are evolving, or these countries are evolving, we are see there's that panic that you could actually be left behind, and that's why you see a lot of innovations or solutions being brought up by the Nigerian government, to like try to make up for that gap. So but on a level of, I think it's also how countries are experiencing this. You look at also the job market, and you see that there's a massive shift in job applications, or would I say both the phasing out, the fear that jobs are being phased out, and then also the job creation that is coming into existence because of new fields like prompt engineering, like also or even the shift from like traditional tech roles to tech roles that have AI infused in them. So I would say that it's two sides of the coin. So there's panic on one side, and then there's also a lot of opportunities showing up, both in developing and underdeveloping countries. So when it comes to the individuals, I would say the opportunities are still available, because irrespective of whether you're in a developing or underdeveloped country, or developed, right? You still have access to the same set of resources. At least you have access to the internet, and you can access them. But when it comes to like infrastructure and government-wise, you see that the developing countries are having challenge, because there's lack of adequate infrastructure. You have like the issues with network, with with internet service, with lights, and then also access to data centers. And so the cost to even like get on board is quite challenging, requiring a lot of support funding and things like that. Whereas in companies, I think I saw recently, I would say, I don't know how true the news is, but I saw a news that Dubai wants to make ChatGPT open free for its citizens. So you see that having that level, and then while if you need to pay like $20 for monthly subscription in Nigeria, that will actually make that gap wide, meaning that it also affects your ability to be able to like jump on the moving train. So these are some of the disparities between like.
Okay, looking at it now, let's look at this quickly. How do you think the Minister of Science and Technology here in Nigeria would be able to help cover up that gap? Like we were conversing before we went live, that the gap on a daily basis keeps increasing.
Yes.
And then looking at Nigeria as a developing country and Africa as large as a developing country, how do you think we could be able, to the ministries, the parastatals involved would be able to, help cover up that gap in line with, achieving, not just totally achieving, but also trying to meet up with what is happening in the global communities?
Yes, thank you. So I thank you for that question. So I would say, from my observation, I think the minister is actually doing it's on the right track. So I've seen some of the initiatives by the Ministry of Technology, and it's quite good. Like the partnership with NDPR to with NDPC, sorry, to make sure that data policies are there to ensure that ethics is data ethics and AI safety is present, and then also with programs like the MT, the 3MT, that's the 3 million technical, yes. So innovations like that aims to like develop at least 3 million Nigerians by 2027.
Yes.
So innovations like that are great, and I think that the government is doing well in that area. So I would say there should be partnership. There should be more innovations like that, and then also, of course, there are a lot of partnerships with investors to like make sure that they expand this. So I'll say that there should be more work in that regard, and then also expansion to the supporting private companies, right, or the private sector. For instance, recently I saw in the news that MTN wants to start starting their data center, right? So and then also I've seen also that Airtel is also joining soon. So I think that it's a very good opportunity for the government to really support what these companies are doing, because so that it's like a start. Of course, we have a wide gap from what it's out there, but it's what Amazon, AWS, GCP are doing. But I think that if that's a step in the right direction, and if the government can support this initiative so that they don't become experiments that just die out, but actually thrive and actually start going to a particular point, we will be moving in the right to an extent in the right direction, and also ensuring that policies are not going to frustrate people.
Yes, because I'm getting to that now. Yes. Let's look at regulation and all, because we saw what happened during adaptation of digital currency, Bitcoin, and the rest of them, regulatory problems, and also what regulatory framework need to be in place. So looking at the train now, the train is moving very, very fast in terms of digitalization and also innovations. Technology is, taking a different tone. Like, basically, it seems as if even your thoughts now are being, monitored and being read. I shared with you what happened with me earlier today. So looking at it now, what regulatory bodies now need to, a whole lot of regulations need to be put in place to be able to curtail and manage this based on privacy and all of that. So how do you think the Nigerian government is going to step in line with, covering this gap, so as it wouldn't be, when people start using it, and then they wouldn't have a level of, ripple effects negatively towards them? So how do you think, what regulatory framework needs to be put in place? Because Nigeria are always good with policies.
Yes. So thank you for that question. So the first regulatory body I would say it's vital in this process is the Nigerian Data Protection Commission.
Yes.
Yes. So and then also it's very important, because in as much as the AI hype is big, or at least AI is really doing a lot of it's breaking through a lot of sectors, right?
Yes.
It's important that we join the train and actually try to make it innovative. It's also important that we try to guard against like the mishaps or the negative impact, which is very vital, because as AI gets more advanced, the mistakes could be more costly. Like later on, I might cite some of the instances, but it can get more costly both financially and also. So it's so NDCP. I'm actually a registered data controller and processor with NDP. So I have actually seen some of the policies that they have in place, and I think that is great, and it's good. And when you look at what like the EU is doing,
Yes.
so these are very necessary steps. So on the negative, to prevent the negative sides,
yes.
I would say it's good to have this in place and encourage innovators to adhere by these policies, because of course, like I said, just as the innovation, as we are pushing for innovation, we don't want abuse, because once you make bad use, for instance, I like this reference to this story. Like there's a lawyer who was I think it was some months back,
Yes.
in the UK, was sanctioned because he used ChatGPT to process a court law, and it was a very strong argument, but it ended up being the cases were not, or the references were not authentic. It was he suffered from what they call AI hallucination, right? So I think issues like this, so it's very good to have policies that guard against the negative impact of this, so that every AI innovator is able to ensure that they're not just building solutions that can be pushed to the market and innovate, but also that won't have some of this negative impact. So with respect to the positive impact, I would say, or the positive side, or what the government needs to do, so that as we try to push for regulations, you don't kill the idea. I think it's very important that a balance is struck, right?
Okay.
Because so it's important that because when you look at these companies,
Yes.
that are, or the countries that are pushing for, you see that there's a lot of support from the government with respect to funding, with respect to experimentation, so and all these things. So I would say that there needs to be more room. There are a lot of areas in which this can be performed, but there needs to be more room to be able to push to encourage startup, not just startup companies, but also professionals. So I will also say again that the 3MTT is a very good initiative, and then more initiatives like that should come out. There should be access to funding for startups, access to a lot of collaborations between schools, maybe competitions. There are a lot of ways to make sure that students, or not just students, both students and then also professionals also jump on the bus and also have that. So I think this balance would help to safeguard good AI use while still not hurting innovation or growth with policy, too much restrictions.
Okay, let's look at economic reform, and then let me just ask quickly, in what ways do you think technology have shifted traditional economic models, like given the trend at which it's all going? Economically, we're seeing sectors now shifting their attention towards digitalization and technology. So what way now has technology shifted traditionally in terms of economic models?
Okay, so what they are, thank you, that for ways in which economics have shifted. So when you look at let's say precision, or like not just even precision, like even when you look at, for instance, how let's say how websites were hosted before.
Yes.
So it shifts from traditional or on-premise solutions to cloud-based solutions.
Yes.
That's like a very good. And then also when you look at the creation of jobs, so for instance, countries that are, if you look at, let's look at countries that have adopted, let's say, technology.
Yes.
So when you look at the shift, you see that a lot of jobs have been created, and then also this has made the well, let's say, apart from the literacy, it has brought to the population, right? You see that it has also impacted on how, like, the economic the well-being of economics. When you look at places like India, right? You look at the pool. I know like technology in places like, not just India, even Nigeria, right?
Yes.
If this might be a bad example, but when you look at even how fraudsters operate now, in the past, the advancement of technology has actually transformed the ability to be able to dupe people of money. And then when you get to even the legitimate businesses, you see that even right now, like companies or in businesses that are able to like take advantage of tech are able to like break through. As a matter of like
Breakthrough faster than
faster,
the
exactly. You see,
traditional way of
exactly.
you can go globally from just your bedroom, and then
Exactly.
you can be able to transact with clients in the
Ex-
diaspora based on the fact of the new technological innovations that we are
exactly.
seeing.
Exactly. When you look at, for instance, just even take look at, let's say, Amazon,
Yes.
or most of these tech. If they were not if they were not open to technology, they would their reach will be very limited.
Yes.
If and also like see myself, like I get to reach remote clients without having to travel
Even
out.
travel out.
So you see,
Yes.
like, so these innovations, and then when you look at, let's say, companies like US, and you look at the companies topping their stock markets, topping their, you see that these companies are companies that have embraced, most of them have embraced, we talk of Microsoft, talk of Nvidia, like they have embraced technology, and it's yielding a lot of positive results for the country. So it's if the success of like count of the tech space in a country like greatly affects or influences
Yes.
their economics, both directly and indirectly, because just like the railroads helped, like back in, if you look at US history, you see that by building connected railway routes, this impacted the ability for businesses to come out by helping ease the transportation of goods between systems. So
Yes.
the same thing, if you build a very good tech ecosystem, it's that connectedness opens up a lot of opportunities, both directly and indirectly, for innovation, for sales, for a lot of economic, like a lot of profits to the organization, both at company and
Yes.
at both company, individual, and then also at country level. So I would say see, this is like a highlight of like how
What?
technology
Okay.
changes or impacts economies.
Okay. Now, there's this big conversation that has been in the room for a very long time where we're seeing innovations happening and all. So now let's look at it. How has automation affected employment differently in terms of in general sector and basically in the globe? Do you think that automation is going to affect the future of manpower in terms of working in several organizations?
Yes, so that's actually a very hot topic, and yes, so automation. So I would say yes, it's going to affect it, but it's not. It's two sides, right? So on one side, you have there's always this when you talk about automation and artificial intelligence, you always hear this statement that AI is not going to replace you, but someone who is using AI will replace you. Personally, I say that it's gradually not becoming so accurate. Of course, AI will disrupt the job market, and it's disrupting the job market. When you look at companies like, for instance, Duolingo, the voice translation tutor joining up. I think some months back they made a statement that they were replacing their human translators with AI powered, and of course that created like a conflicting, like people were on different sides of the coin. So you see that's like one impact. And when you look at even software, the vibe coding and most of these things, it's starting to show that AI will actually disrupt a lot of job markets, and you have issues where entry level positions are also being are also like a lot of entry level position administrative roles can now be used with can now be handled by tools like Copilot and some of these issues. So if for a fact AI would transform or disrupt job market. But on the other side, the good side of it, right, it's balanced. Is just like technology. AI is not the first disruption in the tech space or in the space. AI is going to phase out certain jobs. It's going to transform how a lot of jobs are currently being executed. For instance, even as a journalist, even as a technical writer, as an engineer, AI will disrupt. As a programmer, AI will disrupt, will change how you carry out your jobs. You have to change, so you have to adapt. So, but it's going to also it's also creating new roles. Just like the face, okay, with calculators. When calculators were first faced out, people thought it will replace mathematicians,
Yes.
but it hasn't replaced mathematicians, right? But it has also changed how maths is like, it has changed how things were done in the past, and then also when the computer came in, when you look at like the way, I think during NASA, when NASA was trying to send someone to the moon, they used human calculators at a point to do some of the calculations, but with computing, it was able to automate a lot of this process. It has not changed the need for mathematicians in NASA or in this, but it has phased out certain job functions. So it means that for mathematicians have had to adapt, and I'm just trying to get somewhere that even in this space, it's creating a lot of jobs with technology, with YouTube and all these things. YouTube has created like new job. You have people calling themselves streamers now. You have streamers, you have content creators. These are not jobs that were existing before now. And now you also have AI architects. You have prompt engineers. You have there's a lot of and then you have people even in the traditional roles. For instance, you hear someone like a UI UX designer now saying an AI UI UX designer. I think recently, yesterday, I was also reading about a HCI researcher who also was talking about being that's a human computer interface researcher, which was now also talking about being a human AI interaction interface researcher. So you see, like, so a lot of existing jobs are transforming in the way they are being carried out. So even we have disruptions. Some jobs will phase out. Most jobs will transform, because when you look at even job search or job postings now, you see a lot of jobs having to, you should be able to prompt, you should be able to use these tools. Exactly. So skills.
In a nutshell, what does this mean now for like developing countries like Nigeria and Africa at large?
Yes, it means
where we have issues around employment, unemployment, and then the rates is not the conversation we should be looking at right now, but we have a high rate of unemployment in Africa generally. So if individuals, citizens of different nations in the continent of Africa are complaining about jobs, lack of jobs now, and then we're seeing innovations that would even disrupt the innovative part and also affect working system, how then do Africa survive in this global transformation that we're witnessing?
Okay, yes. So that's a very simple answer to that would be, we have to upskill.
Okay.
Yes, there's no two ways about that. So whatever your role is, rather than fighting, because I know that we have two sides.
Rather than fighting development.
Exactly. So
develop.
Exactly. So because you see like people are conflicted about the use of AI. Even as an AI engineer, I have certain reservations on certain uses of AI, because you can't dispute the fact that even though AI is a powerful tool, it can be misused. So, but rather than fighting AI or resisting AI, AI is not going to leave. AI is here to stay. You have to learn. Like, so for your role, look at how can you actively look for how, if you want to be employable at the global stage, if you want to have impact now, you have to look, how can you improve your work flow with AI? So when I work with clients, most times we look at try to use AI to optimize three things basically. So you either optimize like your client experience, or you optimize your productivity, or you reduce cost, and then you can go on like that. So as an individual, you look at so as an employee, if I'm a receptionist, if I'm a content a writer, if I'm an artist, like all these things, how can I use AI to be better or to improve whatever my job or my task is? And so that is what and one very good way to do this is just go on LinkedIn, search for job postings from other site, other like check like job postings from US. Just check the job description. You would see some of the in-demand skills, and you will see some of the like intersection between AI and some of your role, and then you have an idea what skills you need to learn. So that is a very important skill. You need to like update your skill to remain employable in the market and to remain relevant.
All right. Yes. Remaining relevant is very key. Well, this conversation is just getting started. We'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we return back, may the discourse continues. Stay with us. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, you've missed the first half, I would say, the first first half of the program where we've been having interesting conversation. But still, we have so much more to talk about. Still, now we'll be looking at sectoral impact rather around AI and how it has been helping industries and boosting global economy. The conversation we're having today is the impact of technology innovation on the global economy in terms of creating jobs and helping individuals improve themselves and also get to do their jobs better. The conflict and the conversation around AI and technology is taking away jobs from people is almost a fallacious statement, but we will see how all of these will pan out. But Samuel, looking at sectoral impacts now, which industries have you seen the most that has been significantly, impacted or both negatively and positively in line with AI and technology?
Okay, so when you look at industries being impacted, I would say the least impacted, or not necessarily least impacted. I would say those industries which that are highly sensitive.
Let's major more around maybe financial sector. Let's look at blockchain and
yeah. So when you look at
FX.
Yeah, so when you look at blockchain or let's say FX, these areas have been impacted at least, especially because in Nigeria that's like one of the most thriving sectors. So when you look at the adoption using AI for fraud detection, I think recently I was seeing CUDA and then Flutterwave and Paystack having AI, the reports about them trying to be using AI for fraud detection and all these things. So this impact is growing. Of course, even before the ChatGPT era, you have you have all these AI solutions and all these like AI innovations that have actually helped to be able to automate the process of this this transformation. So when you talk about like both not beyond AI, right? Just like you mentioned, blockchain. This is disrupting these spaces. When you talk about the use of also like the use of like beyond just the fintech, right?
Yes.
When you look at agriculture,
yes,
you look agriculture like precision farming. So a lot of innovation be precision farming, being able to automate farms. Like you look at a lot of innovations on farm automation, automating farms, automating agricultural harvesting. Also like even animal husbandry. So there's a lot of these areas have been disrupted. I remember working on a project like this used like AI to detect weeds on the farm, and then also like making precise applications of herbicides to these things, which save costs by like 60%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you see, so things like that. So these industries have been. I think it's actually quite difficult to talk about an area that has not been affected by AI or tech, because if you are generating data, you have the possibility to be able to make meaning of that data using AI. For those in fintech, it means it's spotting fraud,
yes,
or spotting opportunities for investment or things like that. For agriculture, it means optimizing cost for farming, detecting detecting
bad crops
yes, and all these things. For healthcare, it could mean helping with monitoring your health,
yes,
and helping with diagnosis, helping with helping doctors like spot things, some of the solutions better. And then if you go to manufacturing, it could mean automating a lot of these things. Just like right from the time of Henry Ford, you see how automation helped speed up the process of like car manufacturing, and then that's continued to grow continuously in that area. So technology, like it's I would say it's really challenging to pick like one. I can pick like a personal favorite, but it's something.
Yes.
So for me, my personal favorite, of course, is in businesses, like in conventional like businesses, right?
Yes.
So how automating, how it has eased the use of, like when you look at the traditional like companies, normal companies, automating customer experience, improving customer experiences, right? Looking at maybe later we'll talk about how companies like MTN or Airtel can use AI to automate these things. But a very good example, I think I was reading DoorDash, the delivery company,
Yes.
using automated voice calls to be able to close more deals. So being able to, like, they get a lot of complaints, they get a lot of issues. So and they worked with they used AI to like build an automation solution that helped to take to reduce the wait time, so customers are not kept waiting. Their responses, their orders are taken and then handled automatically. If it needs escalation, it's escalated to a human, but they had a way of like tracking all these things, and it's really boosted their sales. So they saw a lot of a high growth, and this is something that can affect other areas as well. So for me, this is my personal favorite because it's helped me like see the common. It's not something that's far-fetched. You don't see I'm not a farmer and I don't need to.
Yeah.
So it's very, and it's also very. When you talk about precision farming, you might think about the costs. Like you might talk about, okay, it requires you buying a lot of heavy tools, because for precision farming you need like drones and some of these things to get. So, but when you look at the business piece, right, there are a lot of tools that you can. In fact, there are free tools you can like jump on that will help you do a lot of things. So, yeah. So
let's look at challenges and risks. You know, as are there potential downside or risks to rapid technology changes?
Okay, yeah. So there are risks. So when you look at the risks, so one of the very common risks is misuse.
Okay.
Or so
abuse.
Yes,
basically.
abuse, exactly.
Yeah.
So whether consciously or due to lack of knowledge. So when you're very ambitious. So for instance, I saw, I think I was scrolling Twitter and I saw a case where a vibe, someone tried vibe coding. So vibe coding is using prompts to like build applications rather than coding them. So so he built a prompt that was going to extract data from documents. I think, and then it slept through and came back 2 days later and saw a bill of like $120,000. And why? Because the code kept running overnight and running for 2 days non-stop. And so he got a very crazy bill. And then another case, you see, the AI agent deleted the what I call it, deleted the database or something like that. And then you have cases of so these are some of the risks. So that if you are embracing some of these innovations, whether it's tech, AI, because even this beyond AI, when you look at data centers, if you jump on the AWS or some of these cloud solutions and then you don't have good knowledge, you might end up leaving a server thinking you're done, and you have running costs, and then by the end of the month you have costs in thousands. So lack of knowledge. So risks, one of the major risks is jumping on the train without solid information about what, or even like working with professionals that will have. So both the professionals, because you as a client needs to also be able to like identify when something, like to an extent there needs to be some level of knowledge from your end to see to be able to safeguard. So that's one risk. Then the other risk is so you mentioned the risks and
challenges.
Yeah,
let's look at this other light around job displacement due to automation and AI. Because now, like you rightly mentioned before we went on the break, you said individuals just need to like improve themselves and then, you know, be employable. That means move with the trend. That means looking at it now, how do you think this can, you know, be actualized, looking at how the pace at which the adaptation of, you know, technology and AI is being around here? You mentioned something earlier around global employment and all.
Yes. So just to get your question, how they can,
you know, manage, you know, job displacement now.
Yes. So how to manage job displacement? So the first thing is, of course, like I said, reskilling. So if you reskilling, and then also for areas, I always believe that there are skills. So when you look at certain roles, look at your role, aside from reskilling, aside from learning how to use AI, also look at how, like, because even as a writer, let me use writing for instance. When ChatGPT came out, there was this fear that ChatGPT will replace writers because people are able to generate. But it does not replace writers. If you check most platforms, you see, of course, it has like reduced some writing tasks. So there are things that you no longer need to like hire. But when you look at, for instance, when you're trying to like create a very good YouTube script, or video script, or you're trying to write a technical article, or when you're trying to when you write, when you try technical writing generally, is still a required skill. And even when AI gets to the point where it's completely autonomous, like I always say that when AI gets very perfect, there will still be need for human skills, because humans there will be the gap in human communication where humans or clients are unable to communicate their wants or their desires, objectives clearly. And so even with a perfect system, you still need professionalism to be able to like capture that and get the results. So mapping the desire or the objective to the results, and this is an area where every job applicant or every professional can look into. Even when AI gets to a point where you can use AI to like be able to get your job done better, and then you focus on how you can, as a professional, how to bridge that gap, how to look for what skills. So what are some of the irreplaceable skills in your role? So as a journalist, as AI automates, what are some of the functions that AI will not be able to replace?
Yes.
And then you try to position yourself in that area, because they are there. Like even forget beyond the hype, beyond the somewhat AI is going to phase out roles. I like to see it more like, instead of replacing, although it will phase out some jobs, but instead of replacing, I like to see that transform.
Okay.
So it's going to transform a lot of roles, because definitely, even as software developers, the way software development is now is not the same way. There's a lot of quality assurance and ensuring, because AI is able to do a lot of things now. It's able to like code. So even for software developers, it's changing the way software development. So it's disrupting every area. So, but it's not going to replace. I like to say transform. So there are roles, as we continue to progress, there will be opportunities or tasks that will require human intervention. And most best systems I've seen work with a collaboration between the AI solution or agent and the human in the loop, not just leaving it 100% to the solution. So most times like that. So I think that to handle that displacement, this is the thought, or this is what people need to start.
Let's look at collaborations. Now, how important is collaboration between nations when it comes to managing global technology progresses? Let's look at it from the angle of Africa, which is still developing. So, how key is it going to be for the African countries, Nigeria, maybe partner with South Africa or Kenya, to help fast track its own nations, technological advancements, and what role can international communities also play in terms of this collaborations?
Okay, yes. So partnership will greatly benefit both countries. Like if countries decide to partner, they will accelerate their growth, and to see that, you can see the friction between countries like China and US, and you see what has impacted, what has happened with respect to innovation in there. So the restrictions, having restrictions when you like I said, when you have while policies are good, when you look at the impact, let's say some of the restrictions the EU is having on some of the foreign companies, you see that there's a lot of friction, and that kind of hurts the advancement of growth. So for Africa, I would say that as we try to build solutions, if we partner and make policies friendly, right? That to make policies friendly. That's partnering by making policies friendly and not having so much restrictions that prevent innovation cross national innovations. That would be beneficial. And also, if healthy, of course, there needs to be security. There needs to be security caution and awareness, but also being able to look at how we can collaborate and share resources, and at an optimized, well, I say, in a cost-efficient manner, and also in a way that grows the African economy. Because I like to use the rate between like US and China as a very good example, because that kind of highlights what could happen if we don't adapt or we don't embrace partnership. You see that, okay, even chips, because of the drift, you see that there's a challenge with having chips, semiconductor, all these GPUs.
Yes.
There's restrictions on which countries have access to GPUs. Data sharing also, you have strict restrictions on what data is shared between China, US,
Yes.
and all some of these things. So you see all this, and even companies like TikTok sometimes have been on the receiving side of some of these rifts, this backlash. So you see that if companies don't, or if countries don't agree, it has the potential to like affect the growth of both industries in Africa and also even the growth of individual countries as well.
Okay, let's look. Let's as we wrap up, time is beginning to run away from us. So let's look at the future. What trends should we watch out for the next 5 to 10 years? What trends? Because over the decades, we've seen the trajectory of how technology and AI, ChatGPT, fintech, all of that has been evolving. So in the next 5 to 10 years, what are we looking at futuristically?
Okay, so for next year, so it's, even though the speed at which AI is moving now is very difficult to predict, but I would say autonomous AI solutions, right? So very intelligent. So the rate at which innovation is going in, ChatGPT or OpenAI has dropped GPT-5, Grok 4, and then all these recent AI solutions are all promising to be more intelligent than a PhD level human, right? So you see that as we get more deeper into this or further into in the incoming years, we should expect smarter autonomous solutions. And then also I think biotech also is another area that, because when you see what Neuralink is doing with disabled persons, like being able to restore speech
yes.
or like things like that. So I think that in incoming years, these are key areas that we should look out for, because although there might be some level of resistance initially, but these are areas, and also maybe quantum tech and some of these things. So these are some of the areas. Also spatial spatial computing. That's like when you look at augmented reality integration with AI. I feel like as we keep getting deeper into this, you can see that companies like Meta heavily investing in super intelligence. Mark Zuckerberg, the story about Mark Zuckerberg poaching a lot of top executives. So there's a lot of innovation going. So in the next few coming years, we should just expect more innovation and more development in that area.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. As we have seen today, technological innovation is a powerful force reshaping the global economy in ways we are just beginning to understand. Whether it brings prosperity or disruption, it depends on how we finance it. Samuel Nitwe Theophilus, AI engineer, thank you so much for taking our time to join us on today's edition of
Thank you for having me.
All right, this is how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Midday Discuss. My name is Samuel Odi. I will see you again as we discuss further. Bye for now.